Hey guys, it's me, and I know I haven't been on here for a while, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on in a person's life, and lately I've just been seeing a lot of stuff about depression and anxiety and suicides and stuff like that. Well, a lot of people think that depression is about sadness, feeling alone sometimes, which you do. But I'm going to clear a few things up. Depression is not just sadness. You feel empty, or let me put it this way. My depression, you feel empty. You feel like you're not good enough. You want to change yourself because you want others to like you. Same goes with the anxiety. I have depression and anxiety, and it sucks majorly. So, I'm gonna give you guys my life story, and I hope that it inspires some or helps someone know that they're not alone. Sorry, guys. So before I was born, my mom was pregnant with my sister Tiffany. Tiffany was carried for the full 9 months, 2 or 3 days before she was born. The umbilical cord wrapped around twice around her neck, and she went into the birth canal, and it hung her. 5 months after that, my mom got pregnant with me, and it was hard for her, I know, because she wasn't emotionally ready for another child. She wasn't physically ready for another child. But she had me anyways. I was born on Mother's Day in 2001. So 2001, I'm now 16, because now this is 2017. And so you guys get to listen to 16 years of my life if you make it halfway through this video. As I got a little bit older, in 2004, my mom got pregnant again with my sister. She had my sister in 2004. I was happy to be an older sibling, but I was also a middle child, but at the time, I didn't know. I was too young to understand. My sister, we didn't think she'd be able to hear, so we attended the deaf and blind school. I made a friend there. I was pretty happy. Second grade came around, and I always loved going to school. I was a happy-go-lucky child. So was my sister. My mom would dress us up in the same clothes. We'd do matching with hairstyles and everything. What little siblings do. My second grade year, we moved to Colorado. And I was not happy. I wanted to go back. So my mom and my dad sent me and my sister back to where we came from. And we attended the deaf and blind school yet again. I was on their soccer team, first and second grade year. Soccer was fun for me. Right before the school year ended, my mom and dad came back, and they got us and took us back to Colorado. Once again, not happy about it, but I lived with it. And I learned to live with it quite well. Third grade, I guess, is kind of where it started. Not really, but started somewhat. I heard other people saying it, but I didn't really know what it meant. I was too little to know. I passed my friend saying some stuff that I shouldn't have, and I got in trouble for it. My mom and my dad kept moving us around, and it wasn't easy. We moved from apartment to a trailer to a house, back to an apartment to a trailer. We moved about 5 or 6 times within 3 or 4 months, maybe longer than that, at least 6 to 8 months, because my parents couldn't get along. We were constantly at each other's throats. They would fight constantly. My third grade year, 6 or 7, so I don't really know where that puts me at, but I was 6 or 7. My mom was sick. She couldn't get up off the couch. Yeah, so she said she couldn't get up off the couch. She went to multiple doctors. They told her the same thing. My childhood was short-lived. 6 or 7, I started cooking the meals. I was cooking pork chops, chicken, stuff like that. Keep in mind, I was 6 or 7. My dad worked multiple days. Sometimes we'd go a week without seeing him because he worked so many hours, which made my mom and him fight more. My mom didn't do anything. I did the laundry. I made sure that my little sister, who was in kindergarten, was getting to school, that her papers were signed, that she was getting what she needed. I didn't really understand, but I stepped up. I didn't understand everything, but I stepped up. Fourth grade came around, and I was still the happy-go-lucky child I always was. Nothing wrong with me. And almost throughout the entire year of my fourth grade, I had a few friends and didn't really talk to many people, but I moved yet again. I had to go to another elementary school. So off we went to another school. And it wasn't easy, but I seen a few people there that I knew from when I first moved here. And I just stayed with it. Well, fifth grade came around and I switched schools again. First beginning of the year. I was in the same school that I started out with. And my fifth grade year went by quickly. Sixth grade. I was getting ready for it. I was so happy. I was finally becoming a teenager. I could do what I wanted. So my sixth grade year is where it mostly started. My parents still fighting constantly. They were gonna get a divorce. They filed for it. My mom moved out. I despise my mom. I waited on her multiple times. She was the reason that I didn't get my childhood. So I blamed her. I was doing pretty good at the beginning. I was on AB honor. And then my grades dropped drastically. I was making D's and F's. I was passing my few electives that I had. And I would go home. My dad was still working long hours. And yet again, I worked with my sister. I made sure everything was okay with her. And I was there for her to talk to. I made dinner for my dad before he got home. If he was out late and I wouldn't be up when he got home, I'd just sit a plate in the microwave or in the refrigerator for him and put everything else away and put it in the refrigerator and made sure that my sister had a shower and went to sleep. And then, what's this grade? My 7th grade year. It's where it hit me pretty hard. And I was somewhat bullied a good bit. People was being rude, ignorant, and I sort of gave up with most things. My parents had gotten back together and then filed for divorce again. This is my 7th grade year. I made pretty good grades because I didn't want anyone knowing. My mom would ask me what's wrong. I told her nothing. I told her everything was fine. I was fine. It became too much, and I went to the counselor. I was embarrassed, but I was ready to end my life. I didn't feel like I could take it, like I could do it, and the thought terrified me. I tried joining basketball, but the girls there didn't like me, so I quit. My coach didn't like me, so I quit. And sometimes I think that I should have stayed. But I wasn't really thinking. I knew that it hurt. And my parents would fight constantly again. They weren't even together. They weren't even in the same house. And they fought. And it was pretty bad. They would wake me up in the middle of the night arguing. We had a dog. We still have her, but she doesn't live with us. Her name's Mary, and she's a black lab border collie mix. And she's my favorite dog. Well, was my favorite dog. She made me feel better. Sometimes she would come in my room while my parents were arguing and lay with me. Then, a few months later, we started fostering dogs. My mom brought in a Siberian Husky, and I loved her. And so a couple got her, and then they just gave her back. And I didn't comprehend it at first, but I asked my mom if we could keep her. And we went to the pound, filled out all the paperwork, and got her. She attached to me. I've got a lot of things scattered out, but we got the dog, and she attached to me, and she loved me. She replaced Mary somewhat because Mary wasn't really my dog. Mary probably just didn't like the fighting as much as I did. But she started spending more time with my mom. Mary did, and then we got Star. and I kept her. She stayed in my room, and she started running away a lot. She ran to a couple up the street from us, and I had to make a choice that I didn't really feel like I should have made. But I couldn't keep a dog that didn't want to be with me. So I got rid of her. I gave him to the couple. The next morning they called, and her husband and her son were allergic to the dog. And I was somewhat happy because I wanted to keep her. And like I said, I went to the counselor because everything became too much. And like I said, I was embarrassed. My mom moved. We moved back home where we came from. I made a lot of friends there. And 4th of July came around, and my mom and me, we still weren't getting along. She made me mad. She made me upset. She treated me like I was a dog. I wanted out. I wanted to go. She didn't really want me. I'm sorry, guys. So I moved back to Colorado with my dad, but she followed. Great, right? 8th grade, I was back in my old school. I didn't really want to be there. I was supposed to get homeschooled, but I didn't. Parents still filed for divorce again. And my 8th grade year went by quite quickly. Made decent grades. I passed. And I just gave up. I started hiding in my room more. I locked myself in there. I stayed in the dark. My dad gave me my first touchscreen phone because it was his. It was a hand-me-down. And my sister got my mom's. I started hiding myself in my room. I would listen to music. It's probably where most of my problems began, was that stupid phone. In between my 8th grade and my 9th grade year, over summer, I thought things were going to change for me, that things would be better in high school. I've seen all the movies that made them seem so easy, made high school look like fun, but I was terrified. I didn't want to go. There were people there that I didn't know, who I was pretty sure didn't want to be around me. So I didn't really want to go, but they made me. And my homecoming week. The homecoming week of my freshman year. Not we, but I was excited for the homecoming dance and everything. I made my mom go out and buy me a dress. She bought it from a woman that she worked with. I was working at the same place. 14 and I had a job. And I loved my job. I started talking to someone, and we got together, and then the next day I realized some stuff that he said that didn't make sense to me. He had asked someone I had previously dated why he broke up with me. Why he had to ask someone's opinion on me. in order for him to date me, and I called it off. The same day, some guy texted me that my friend was friends with and was trying to set me up with. So I went along with it. He called me pretty and beautiful, and for the first time in a long time, I actually felt like I was wanted. And so I said yes. Stupid, right? I was supposed to meet him at the homecoming bonfire that my school was having. The guy that I liked, we had already made plans to hang out that week. And I seen him there, and so we went and hung out on the soccer field. It was a big mistake. We got down there, and he had previously dated my best friend. And my friend knew that I liked him, but I was skeptical. So I was just hanging out because I wanted to be friends, because it's wrong to date your friend's ex. He hung out with this kid my sister's age who kept texting me and saying that he liked me and wanted me to go out with him. And I said no. My phone wasn't turned on. I left it at home. I told my mom and dad what time to come get me, and that was it. My phone stayed home. So I had no way of getting a hold of my boyfriend. I had waited for him. That's how I seen my best friend. And that's why me and him ended up hanging out, because I couldn't find him. And the kid kept asking if I wanted to kiss him. The boy that I was supposed to be dating kept asking if I would let him kiss me. I had never kissed anyone before. So I was just like, I don't know. Well, that night I didn't see him. So I was kind of happy. And me and the boy that I was hanging out with decided to make plans for homecoming night. Because I don't really watch football. I don't really understand. And I pretty much said okay. And we had already made plans to hang out like a month in advance. So the next day was the homecoming game. And I went. I was sort of excited, kind of nervous. Well, my boyfriend was there. And I didn't know what to do. So I tried to avoid him, but it didn't work. He found me. He kept asking if I wanted something to drink, if he could get me anything. And I didn't really trust him all that well at the time, but at the same time, I also didn't want anything. I said no. And probably got a little bit annoying with the whole wanting to go back to go hang out with my friend, and my friend blowing me off. Well, finally, I found my friend, and we went and hung out because I found him. And that night, I had conflicting emotions because I didn't want to hurt the guy I was with, but I liked the guy that I was hanging out with. And the guy that I was hanging out with was flirting with me, but he scared me. He passed out after he was like literally talking to me. He was in the middle of a conversation when he passed out. And finally, I went home, and that's pretty much where I stayed. That night, the boy I was with broke up with me, which I was fine with. because I didn't know else how to handle it. And I started wasn't talking to, but me and my friend, and we're friends with some other people. And I liked him. He was cute. And his ex took his phone and was texting me, pretending to be him. She asked me out over his phone. Of course, it was the guy that I liked, so I said yes. It wasn't him, and she started calling me a slut and a whore, and I just said night, and she said night, bitch. She texted me from multiple people's phones that night. My best friend was hanging out with her that night, and she said that my best friend was involved in it. My mom went off. She went over there the next day. I was already having problems with my depression and anxiety. I was in counseling. And it was embarrassing because I didn't want anyone else knowing. But it was something I had to do. It was something that was helping me. I was finally becoming a normal person again. My parents were still getting a divorce. We filed for it for the 4th time. And I was ready to die again. I wanted to kill myself. I didn't want to be in this world. I screwed up a lot. And it hurt. And another guy texted me. It was a fake account. Said that he went to my school and he looked familiar. He looked like one of the kids in my classes. And he was texting me. And he was asking me what I was wearing. I played dumb and asked why he wanted to know. Told him I wasn't that kind of girl to turn someone on. And I kept playing dumb, but then I hadn't posted any pictures of me the day that he texted me, and he said that I looked sexy in the red shirt that I was wearing. Like I said, I hadn't posted any pictures, and the only people who see me were the people on school campus. I was terrified, and I didn't know who to tell, so I kept it to myself. Then the other kids started texting me, and so I screwed up. I went along with some of the stuff he was saying, and I didn't really think that he was taking it like serious, and he was. He started flirting with me. He thought that I wanted a relationship, and I didn't. I just wanted a friend. And he blamed me. And said that I was the reason for his depression. I believed it. I had kept my walls up pretty high. And when I was ready to kill myself, I moved. I was supposed to be on suicide watch. They would call me. Well, I had someone calling me. It wasn't really suicide watch, but they called me daily and So I moved. It wasn't because they were calling me, it was because of the fact that I couldn't take anymore. I quit my job and I moved with my mom to our hometown again. And I was happy. I made friends. No, I didn't have any relationships. I didn't have guys bugging me. And for once, I was happy. My mom got some money, and we were having a big seafood dinner thing over the weekend. And there was a guy that I liked that I was texting. I think I learned the first time, right? No, I didn't. I didn't really realize what I was doing. Well, I realized what I was doing, but he didn't know what he was doing. He had gotten drunk and was texting me. He was saying how he liked me and asked me out. And of course, I liked him, so I said yes. I didn't know he was drunk. He had a lot of pictures on his Snapchat, but I just kind of ignored it. I didn't really think much on it. Went on the entire weekend. I had figured out that my uncle's cancer was probably wouldn't live much longer. I was upset about it, and I went to school that Monday after the weekend. The day that he asked me out, well, the night that he asked me out, was the night that I figured out my uncle might not have made it through the night, but he did. I let my guard down. I let my walls down to let someone in. That Monday, I was going to the class that me and him had together, and my friend asked if he had talked to me yet, and I said no. And she said that he was drunk, and it wasn't something that I'd want to hear. But she told me he was drunk, and I didn't want to have to hear it from her. First, I didn't believe it. I didn't really think that he was capable of that. We got in that class, and he had everyone back where he was working. They were all pretty upset with him because I was nice to everyone. I was trying to be. I didn't want to be a bad person. So, yeah. Finally, I got sick of waiting for him to tell me. And I texted him. He was going to walk me to class, tell me, and walk away. He asked multiple people how to do it. They wouldn't help him. Because he did it on his own. I confronted him on Facebook about it. He said that he tried to get feelings from me, but he couldn't. I felt stupid. That summer came and I went to my dad's house. The guy that I liked, we were best friends, and he quit talking to me. And it sucked. I didn't want to leave where I was at. Well, me and my mom argued about it. She came out with my dog. Because since my dog ran away for the last time, I got a new one. Because I haven't seen her. And I was with someone. I had just got with him. And I had to move. I had 2 days to get ready for school. Finally, I got on the bus after the 2 days. My sophomore year had started. I was somewhat happy, but it didn't help anything. My mom got me into counseling again. And anyways, my mom got me back into counseling. My grades were fine. And then my mom and me started arguing again. We fought for a good while. And I seen a guy that I liked within a week. And I was with someone. And I didn't find it fair. It wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to the person that I was with. Because he lived where I lived. And he lived where I used to live. And then I was there without him. I had to call it off. Because I couldn't be with him because it was a long distance thing. And me and the other guy started talking. Well, one night I had a party. It wasn't really a party, it was a bonfire for me and my family and a couple of my friends. He came up like he promised he would. And we started hanging out with my friend and him and my cousin. That night they snuck out of my cousin's house to come see my friend and me. And I was happy because I liked him. We were talking by the fire because I was waiting for it to burn out. And they had just told me that they were coming back down. I didn't really know that they were. My friend told me because she was taking my phone to Snapchat my cousin. And he kept talking to me. And he grabbed me by my hand and swung me around so he could face me. And he just hugged me. And we sat down, and my friend went and sat in my camper that I was staying in. Because it was too warm in my bedroom for me to stay. And so I was staying out in the camper so my mom would give me some privacy. And my mom agreed to it. So I left the door open. And he was my first kiss. And truly my first love. We ended up making out that night. And we were together for a month and a half. I figured out that my aunt might have cancer and it broke my heart. And he kept asking me if I wanted to break up, so I gave him what he wanted. It killed me. He got with someone else. And I couldn't do it anymore. I had to move. My mom and me got in our last argument and she sent me away with my sister. He got what he wanted and he broke me. I moved here and I got my friends back. I got my life back. I'm somewhat a survivor. You gotta stay strong and keep pushing because you can't let it beat you. Because now I'm on my junior year. Yeah, there's probably someone out there who is having it a lot harder than I'm having it, but you're not alone. Talking to someone helped me. It was embarrassing for me at first, but once you get over the fact that they're just there to help, it helps. I, my mom and me might not have the best relationship, but I still love her. So you gotta stay strong because it's not all permanent. Don't end your life because it sucks. Because I'd give anything to help anyone go through what they're going through. It sucks, I know, and it probably hurts a lot. But once you get over the fact that you don't have to get over anything, just you have to make the best of what you have, make the best of who you are. Don't try to change yourself for someone else because it's honestly not worth it. Be the person that you want yourself to be. Because if you're trying to be anyone else, then it doesn't work. You end up being more miserable than you usually are. So remember, stay strong. You are beautiful the way you are. And don't give up. Because, yeah, you might not feel like your heart can handle much more. But trust me, it will crack at one point, but you can fix it. You can be the person you want yourself to be. Thank you guys for listening. Enjoy.